Well, the sport is all dressed up for a night on the town. The World Golf Hall of Fame will welcome 5 new members this evening in a ceremony near Wall Street. You will see it right here on Golf Channel. Also, the internationals, led by Hideki Matsuyama and Jason Day, set to square off against the United States with Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas. Golf Central, live from the President's Cup.
Golf Central proudly presents Live from the President's Cup. Presented by Citi and Alfa Romeo.
As strong as they have been in quite some time, the mighty Americans, with 3 of the top 4 players in the world, the reigning FedEx Cup champion Justin Thomas, right in the middle of it all, the assistant captains, Tiger Woods, with world number 1 Dustin Johnson. Tiger actually giving a bit of putting advice to U.S. Open champion Brooks Koepka. United States 6-0 on home soil, 9-1-1 all time. This is the 12th President's Cup. International team trying to turn it around. Behind Captain Nick Price and the Aussie Jason Day, played reasonably well at East Lake. Ernie Els, one of the vice captains, along with Adam Scott. Underdogs with a fighting chance. 12 players, 8 countries, 5 continents, 1 goal. Win for the first time on U.S. soil. I think upwards of a half dozen of these 24 players could someday be enshrined right here at the World Golf Hall of Fame exhibit in St. Augustine, Florida. That is our focus tonight. Lorena Ochoa, part of this class of 5. Henry Longhurst, C. Davis Love III, Meg Mallon, and Ian Woosnam, along with Lorena Ochoa. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner, pleased as always to be alongside Brandel Chambly, Frank Nobilo, David Duval. Brandel, you look at this Hall of Fame, and I always think this is a chance for the players, in the case of Henry Longhurst, the late broadcaster, but their families to stop and just sort of reflect and think, my goodness, I have made a significant mark in my profession. How nice that must be.
And all of us, really. This is one of my favorite nights of the year in the game of golf, because we all get to sit back and enjoy the excellence, not only in the game today, but the past history of this game. And I don't know who said it, but it seems apropos that sports serve society by providing such vivid examples of excellence. And that's what Hall of Fames do. They remind us of what's possible in all of us, of higher aims, of persistence and perseverance, which takes strong will, but it also takes strong character. And, we're going to sit back tonight and look at some of the strongest character in the history of golf tonight.
And, Frank, this is the second induction ceremony with the new procedures in place.
You're exactly right, Rich. And we're going to tag on what Brandel was saying, using the word excellence, because that's the reason why they wanted to get a different selection process. They felt like I don't really want to use the word diminish the induction process, but they felt that if you had people like Jack Nicklaus, Annika Sorenstam, for example, having a say in who gets inducted into this great hall, then it would be more worthy of an accomplishment. And it is now. They've succeeded. And you're right. Tonight, the second time, I think they got it right. And a little shout out, too, to Wee Woozy, 5'4", and he did what you did, David. He got to the #1 player in the world.
Yeah, he was something else. It makes me reflect on longevity, perseverance, hard work, dedication, belief, persistence. All the things we talk about really in the game of golf and the game of life, frankly. It takes a lifetime to get to where these folks are this evening. And it takes a lot of belief, and it takes a lot of a big support structure. And I think to celebrate this excellence is a remarkable thing, and to sit back and be able to watch it this evening is going to be a lot of fun.
And used to be they would have an induction ceremony every year. They frankly just ran out of players who were qualified. So every 2 years, and they rotate it. They go to different places. 2019 will go to Pebble Beach. And instead of being 40 years old now, you have to be 50 or removed by a certain period of time from your playing days, as is the case with Lorena Ochoa. All right, getting underway Thursday, the President's Cup 5 foursomes matches, 1 o'clock Eastern right here on Golf Channel, with Presidents Obama and Bush 43 expected to be here. And now we take you to the junior senator from North Carolina. That would be one Todd Lewis, who has more on the Tuesday practice session. Todd?
Well, thank you for the floor, Senator Lerner. We will talk about the United States team. Steve Stricker implementing a pod system. grouping players together based on their personality and playing style. The first group or pod out today, headlined by Jordan Spieth and Patrick Reed. Don't be surprised to see these two matched up together here at the President's Cup. Playing alongside them, Brooks Koepka and Daniel Berger, a couple of rookies in the President's Cup. In the second group, Dustin Johnson and Matt Kuchar, the veterans there, alongside rookies Kevin Chappell and Kevin Kisner. Phil Mickelson in his 12th appearance at the President's Cup. He's played in every one of the President's Cup matches dating back to 1994. He played alongside his friend Ricky Fowler and a couple of rookies there as well in Charlie Hoffman and Justin Thomas. 6 rookies on this team, and if you notice in those pods, 2 veterans matched up with 2 rookies. Steve Stricker telling his team that although the United States has dominated this series, do not take the international squad lightly.
We know once the door opens how good the players are on the international team that it could lead to more losses. So we've got to continue to be ready, play sharp, and play our best. Because if you look at the talent on the international team, it is strong and it is deep. And if we open the door and give them an opportunity, it will bite us.
But they have a great team. I mean, I think obviously this being my first one, I probably have looked at it a lot more, or their team a lot more than I would have in past years, but I feel like they're a very deep team, one of the best teams they've had, and we're going to need to play well.
They're definitely not looking at us as a team that they can't beat or anything like that. They got a strong team themselves, and by no means are we looking past them thinking that we, are necessarily favored to win this. I mean, when it comes down to match play, the favorite doesn't always win. Golf's a funny sport, so we've got our work cut out for us. We need to go out there and play well. Yeah, we are a very talented team. We've had a lot of success this year, top to bottom. But it all comes down to this week. Doesn't matter what we did, the last 10, 11 months. We got to show up and play some golf this week.
As for the international squad, some interesting groupings today as well. Group number 1, Anirban Lahiri, who's playing in his second President's Cup, but he did not earn a point in his first appearance in South Korea in 2015. Playing with him, Adam Hadwin, the young Canadian rookie, Jason Day and Mark Leishman, these Aussies bringing some momentum from the playoffs here to this event. Hideki Matsuyama headlining the second group off today. He played alongside Charles Schwartzel and Ricky Siwoo Kim, and also rookie Mariano Grillo. Brendan Grace and Louis Oosthuizen and a couple of South Africans playing. Don't be surprised to see them together in matches out there this week. Adam Scott, the veteran, playing alongside Johnny Vegas. Those two playing alternate shot a bit out there today. That may be an indication that the veteran may be matched up with the rookie Vegas. Nick Price telling his team, guys, don't forget 2015. The matches came down to singles competition, the very last match of the day. We had a chance at winning, and he feels like his guys are bringing some momentum here to this year and the opportunity to win again.
Looking forward to it. We have a good team. I think the guys are all starting to become really good friends, which is great because we're starting to feel comfortable with each other, which is nice. And coming into this week, obviously it's going to be a tough match against the United States, as it always is, especially on their home soil in the backyard of New York City. That's always tough, but looking forward to a good week, and hopefully we can rally and give them a good shot and hopefully pull one out for the guys.
I think that's the key thing for us, is finding that team and getting everyone to dig deep, getting everyone who's not been here for 8 losses or 9 or whatever it is now, that they've got to feel that pain, and I think that's, they're fired up. And the good news is, with the guys who haven't been here, they haven't felt that as well. They're coming in as winners. Anyone who is here is probably a winner. They are. They've won something. They're the best golfers from around the world, and that's the attitude they've got to take. And it's important that any of the past disappointments that myself or Nick or anyone else doesn't rub off on them.
More interesting comments from Adam Scott today. This is his 8th appearance in the President's Cup. He said this year's team seems to have more excitement and optimism that they can win than any other team he's been a part of. So, Rich, the international squad seems to be in a right frame of mind as we move closer to Thursday.
Yeah, they look good. They were loose out there in their practice sessions, but it is only Tuesday. They were close in 2015 in South Korea, but they have not led after any session going back to 2005. The United States, 26 consecutive sessions, Todd. They have led. Internationals need to turn that around and fast. Let's go back now to our Hall of Fame coverage. It gets underway 7 o'clock Eastern right here on Golf Channel. Davis Love III, part of this class of 2017, 21 tour wins, 1997 PGA Championship with the Rainbow, and 2 Players Championships. He won in 4 different decades. The only other men to have done that, Floyd and Snead. Davis won first at the age of 23 in 1987, then 51 in 2015. 6 Ryder Cup appearances, 6 President's Cup team appearances, and twice a Ryder Cup captain, winning last year at Hazeltine National. Tim Rosefort now with Davis Love III.
Davis, what are your feelings about the honor that's going to be bestowed upon you tonight?
Well, I'm just still humbled, and still amazed that I'm going in the Hall of Fame with such an illustrious class, and then joining the likes of my heroes, Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus, and right on down the list. So still amazing to me, and I'm a little bit nervous about the speech, but I'm going to enjoy this for many, many years to come.
Give us a hint of what some of the memorabilia and trophies that you donated to the World Golf Hall of Fame and what those meant to you.
Well, I went through a lot of stuff. I was trying to get them to take a lot of, kind of non-golf stuff, but I guess that's what my locker is for. But, my early clubs, the driver I played from 85 to 97, the old wooden driver that kids that are playing right now and winning the FedEx Cup never used. So some interesting stuff. And then they asked me for some college stuff, some high school stuff, but tried to get a lot of my dad's stuff in there. He had some neat stuff, and I was hoping that continue his memory by putting some of his relics in there. So it's going to be fun to continually work with the Hall of Fame and the historians on putting the right things in there.
Who is most responsible for you being here tonight?
Well, my father, I said, would be the main one responsible, and so many others after that. My brother was basically my coach after my dad left, and he caddied for me so much. Then Jack Lumpkin obviously took over as teacher, but Butch Harmon and all the Golf Digest teachers and everybody that ever gave me a lesson. But mainly my mom. My mom gave me such a grounding in my faith and how to act as a Southern gentleman, and all the things that Harvey Penick taught my dad. My mom insisted in her house. So my mom and my dad for a lot of reasons, and plus she was the best player in the family. So I had to beat her before I could try to beat my dad. So I owe my parents and my family quite a bit.
It's 20 years now since the PGA, since the Rainbow, since the memory of your dad. Other than that win, what's the second most important accomplishment of your career?
Well, I think I've enjoyed and the most proud of my participation in the international teams. Playing on the Ryder Cup team, playing on the President's Cup team, and then captaining and being assistant captain. But, winning the Players' Championships, I think, really put me over the edge. One major probably wouldn't have got me in the Hall of Fame, but 2 near majors at the Players, and obviously a long career, winning so many different tournaments in so many different decades. I think the longevity, and then, again, what my dad asked me to do and what Tom Kite taught me to do, and Ben Crenshaw, how you act and how you play the game, I think certainly played a part in me getting in the Hall.
You've referenced your father twice now. What would he have said if you had been here tonight?
Well, I think he'd have said job well done, and he'd have been worried about my bunker game and my putting right now, trying to get me straightened out. But, he would have been proud of winning the Payne Stewart Award, winning the Bob Jones Award. Obviously getting in the Hall of Fame is another step above that. And I think he would have been proud more of the way I conducted myself, the way I carried, the way I tried to pass on to the next generation like he did, as much as he would the golf.
I'm going to ask you one more. You've probably sat through more speeches than maybe anybody in the game of golf, motivational talkers, athletes that you've had on both teams that you've captained. What is it about tonight's speech and talk that's going to be special and different and maybe not as nerve-wracking as you think it's going to be?
Well, it'll be emotional. I have some lines in there about my dad and Harvey Penick and people that have meant so much to me. Making a statement of what I believe in a little bit, and a few props from my Hall of Fame locker. But it's going to be a special night. Tom Kite meant so much to me, having him introduce me. I'm a little bit nervous about delivering the message, but Michael Bamberger has been so great to me, and Ryder Cup speeches and articles and the book that he wrote that I talked, that he let me put my name on. He's been great, and he sat in here with me today and helped me finish it off and shorten it up and make it make sense. So I have to give Michael a lot of credit for making the thoughts and the feelings that I have come out, whether it's the Ryder Cup speech or this speech tonight. So, but I'll be glad when it's over. Maybe I won't have to make a speech for a long time after this.
Davis, it's been great following your career, and I think your second greatest moment was getting Drew into the U.S. Open this year and almost making a cut.
Well, I was thrilled to watch him qualify and then to caddy, and next time I'll do a better job, and we'll get in the top 10.
Thanks, Davis. All the best. Thank you.
Well, you guys all played a lot of golf with Davis Love III, even back in the day when, as he said, he was bombing that old wooden driver about as far as anyone could hit it. David, I'll start with you. What was Hall of Fame worthy about Davis's game, tee to green?
Tee to green, I think a lot of it. Really, you look back, and he was one of the original kind of bombers of the golf ball. And people don't realize that, if anything, you know, through the kind of the beginning and middle of his career, it seemed like he actually ended up becoming shorter. He like kind of tightened it up a little bit. He used to send it every bit Dustin Johnson type length, Jason Day type length, Rory McIlroy. I mean, he'd hit those wooden clubs 320, 330 yards. And also think of longevity as much as anything. And I have to say it, as much as, even more so than that, I think of the gentleman, of who he is, how he has been, how he was with me, being a few years older than me. I played a lot of golf with him, a lot of practice rounds, was on several teams with him. Just a joy to be around, but I think of those things.
You talk about his length. At one stage, he never carried a 3-wood. There wasn't a par 5. He couldn't get home with a driver and an iron. And by all accounts, too, you know, I know we always check these things, but 1997, when he won his major championship at Winged Foot, Brownell, that was done with a wooden driver. And there is a debate. In my opinion, that is still the last major that's been won with a wooden driver. But you know, he was the quiet man of golf. I mean, often you would hear the critical article because we expected so much out of him. But he is the quintessential modern player. When I first saw him, I wasn't used to seeing a guy that was 6'3". That is commonplace now. The big swing, the big frame, we see that with every second player on the tour. But Davis was an original.
6'3" with arms that are, you know, way up there. You know, in terms of playing, you know, the fact that he was the last one to win with wood, that does speak to his length. He was also the first person that I ever saw, and now then everybody does this. So, you know, if you compare eras, it doesn't seem that amazing, but the 10th hole at the TPC Scottsdale is a sharp dogleg right. It's 290 to the corner and then a wedge to the green or a 9-iron to the green if you hit a good drive. And I had hit my drive first. He was playing second off, and I had kind of gone to my bag, and I saw him out of the corner of my eye teeing up, and he looked like he was angled right at me. And then my caddy asked me something real quietly, so I turned, and then I heard this ball just whiz right over my head, and I turned around, and he's like this, but looks like he's taking it right over my head. And I was looking, and I go, "Where's that?" And he goes, "It should be on the green or just in the green side bunker." I was like, I couldn't even conceive of it. Nobody had ever done that. And then, of course, it was in the green side bunker. And he blasted out to a foot and he made birdie. Now, the next hole, the 11th, is a 500-yard par 4, 490, water down the left. I hit as good a drive as I could hit, absolutely blistered it. And I got down there, I had 6-iron to the front left pin. And he had a sand wedge. And my 6-iron landed just over the bunker and rolled 40 feet past the hole. The greens are firm there. Sure. And his sand wedge stopped like that. And I just remember thinking, I cannot do that. I cannot beat that. The other side of that is in 1994, when I was in the last group paired with him at Honda. He had won 8 times by then, and I was leading. And I teed off on the 4th tee, and as soon as I teed off, a camera got right in front of me and was like right in my face. And Davis goes, hey, give the guy some room. Give the guy some room. Now, he was trying to beat me. I was trying to beat him. But he had the wherewithal and the social awareness to speak for me. And he was thinking about me, not him. And so it's the combination of his talent and his selflessness that got him here.
And you would expect Davis to get a little emotional tonight when he talks about his father. You heard him with Tim. Just if you don't know the story, Davis, his father, Davis Love Jr., was a beloved teaching professional, died in a plane crash in 1988. So Davis essentially left to start his career without the man who had prepared him so well. But Davis Love Jr. always told his son, do not leave anything behind. And Davis listened to his father, and here he is in the Hall of Fame. So we'll watch that tonight. Davis going into this class of 2017 with these other worthy inductees. Henry Longhurst with quite a bit on Henry. Too young to remember him. He was one of a kind. Meg Mallon, wonderful player, twice won the U.S. Open, terrific putter. Lorena Ochoa, who retired at 28, now runs the Lorena Ochoa Foundation in Mexico. And Wee Woozy, the guys played a lot of golf with Ian Woosum, and they'll have plenty to say about just how good he was. Well, in case you haven't heard, there's been some talk about athletes and the anthem. Not surprisingly, a subject today at the President's Cup.
What would your thoughts be if one of your players wanted to, say, follow the lead of NFL players and stage a silent protest during the national anthem?
We've had that discussion already, and that none of my players want to do that. We're going to do what we always do, and it's take off our hat and put our hands across our chest and over our heart and respect the flag. So that's what we're planning on doing.
Look, we have social injustices in this country, and we should all strive to eliminate them. That we've made great strides over the years, but we've got a ways to go, and we should all strive to eliminate those. But this week, I'm so proud to represent the United States, to play for my country, to play for my teammates, and participate in this great event.
I think the same reason that we have our flag, our freedom, the people that fought for our right to be able to do that, you know, those guys have their right and freedom of speech to do what they want. Do I necessarily think it's the right time to do it? No. You know, it's our national anthem. It's our country's flag. So it's a special time to, I guess, in a way, pay respect and remember what a great country we get to live in. But it is you know, free speech. You can do what you want, but I just think it may be better at a different time.
The American team, they are united here at Liberty National.
Still to come, the inimitable Henry Longhurst, Brandel on what made him a Hall of Fame voice. Plus, Tim Rosefort talks with the great Lorena Ochoa as she gets ready to take her place alongside the legends of the game, and recalling one of the single best moments in Hall of Fame history.
Look where I've been, look what I've done. Never worked very hard at it, and it's all fallen into place.